Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs ringing.
I'm Devin. That's Zane. And this is Buffet Sports, where we talk about the NFL. We're going to go through and do a recap of week 8. I'm under the weather emotionally. Let's jump in.
Dumpster Bowl. Dumpster Bowl of the week. Now, this one hurts a little bit. Really does. Really does hurt. But I have found a new associate for Dumpster Bowls, right? It makes my job easier because I just have to follow one team around and then they give me a Dumpster Bowl. Unfortunately, it was against my Titans.
Hey, shout out for putting up 14 points.
Shout out. Yeah, I was surprised.
Cowboys couldn't do that, though. Yeah, the Cowboys couldn't do that. So, I was literally looking at the score and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But 52-14, and there was 13 minutes left in the third quarter. I text you. I'm like, it's 41-7 right now, or it's like 41-14. Like, what's happening right now? This is absolutely insane. Shout out, again, Mr. MVP himself, Jared Goff, having an even crazier stat line than last week.
I know. I was looking at this and I couldn't make sense of it. 12 for 15, 85 yards, 3 touchdowns. That makes zero sense. But I was like, all right, the running backs just carried this game. Hey, I love Dan Campbell's mentality. We're not going to stop. We're in the NFL. This isn't a charity game. We're not playing in the Special Olympics. You came to play. We're in the NFL and we're going to play. What is it? 15-minute quarters or 12-minute quarters?
15 quarters.
We're going to play 60 minutes of football, and you're going to get this, you know what, shoved in your face, dude, for 60 minutes. All right? I love it. It's my favorite thing. Dan Campbell, there's no rivalry with the Lions and Dan Campbell. He just hates the league. And I love
he just hates everyone.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Everyone can catch a stray. There's no one that can't catch a stray. I love it.
And this is the Tennessee Titans, by the way. And you would think that once they're up, maybe they would try and get a couple linemen in. But no, they did run a trick play. But they had David Montgomery throw a TD pass to Sam Laporta. It's absolutely bonkers.
You know that David Montgomery was a quarterback in high school.
He was. I did not know that. It makes sense.
They were talking about it after the game. And I'll send you the video. Sam Laporta's voice is mad sus, dog. It's so sus. I'll send you the video, but I was like, he's got to be acting. There's no way that's his normal speech pattern and voice. There's no way.
Yeah, but shout out both of the RBs. We made a parlay last night and we put both RBs anytime touchdown. I believe that passing touchdown counted, did it not?
Well, David Montgomery had a rushing touchdown.
Oh, he also, yeah. Silly me. Of course, he also had a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. The parlay didn't hit, but yeah.
No, it didn't.
No.
Son of a bitch. But it sucks. It really does suck. It was against my Titans, and Will Levis wasn't on the field.
Dude, 85, Jared Goff threw for 85 yards, and they dismantled the team. They've got to be the best team in the NFL.
They are. I don't think it's a debate anymore. I think they have
the Chiefs are undefeated, but it was 27-20 against the Raiders.
Yeah. Like we said, there are winning moments.
Start to finish.
The Lions are winning games. Start
to finish.
The Lions are winning hours, minutes. They're winning every point.
It was 52-14, and they didn't score in the fourth quarter. They pitched a second half shutout. Dude, it's uncalled for. It's so uncalled for, and I enjoy it so much.
I feel like I got stabbed, but it's so hilarious. That Jared Goff stat makes no sense. It seems the less he throws, the better the team is. And that's not even a shot at Jared Goff. That is just a praise to everyone else on that team. Whoever their offensive coordinator is.
That parlay didn't hit because Amon-Ra didn't have any yards. That's why. I just remembered. He had 2 receptions. Last game. Let's talk about the sightless wonder.
Yeah.
My Will Levis. the greatest quarterback of all time, Mr. 30-30, didn't throw an interception today. Some call him, I'm not even going to fuck around here. Let's clap it up, Jameis.
Hey,
27 for 41, 343, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Demantling what I believe is the second best team in the NFL in the Ravens. 29-24. Xavier Tillman, I think is his first name. No, Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman, 7 receptions, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean,
Hey.
just Jameis. Did you watch the video I sent you before the game where Jameis was absolutely locked in?
He was locked.
This guy's a walking meme. I love him to death. I'll throw the video up here because it's just pure comedy. The guy is just a walking. I am so excited for the next couple weeks because he might produce moments better than Will.
Yeah, he might. But he looked great this week, except for he threw it to Kyle Hamilton. He just threw it directly at him. Kyle Hamilton fumbled it, but as beyond that, Cedric Tillman, you will be receiving a letter in the mail from my organization this week. Around Wednesday, when we're allowed to submit waivers, you will be receiving a letter for sure. 7 receptions, 99 yards, 2 TDs. David Njoku is back. I am making a prediction for fantasy really quick. By the end of the year, he will finish as number 1. He's going to be the number 1 spot for fantasy points for tight ends. That's what I'm predicting.
Bust.
He's been ever since he's been back. And as long as Jameis is the quarterback, he's going to have a touchdown a game. He's going to have a touchdown a game.
Bust. But
what does this say about the Ravens now? Because they just lost to one of the worst teams in the league.
They just didn't get up for the game. Like they came off of a Bucks win in which they weren't serious towards the end of the game. Not to say like when you were watching the game on the broadcast, they were all just screwing around on the sideline, not locked in. It's not, I get it. They were up by like 30. So I'm not saying that they enjoy the win, whatever, but they didn't come ready to play. They didn't take the Browns seriously at all. And the Browns, look, I'm not going to say it. The Lord's work. The Lord's work took place, and the Browns rallied around Jameis Winston. Winston. I can't say his name, his last name for some reason. Winston.
Yeah,
Jameis Winston. And they rallied around him. The Browns defense came to play. They looked like, now I know they gave up 24 points, but look, if Jameis is going to put up 29, that's enough. They did what they needed to do to win. And Chubb is back. So they're not only rallying around Jameis, but also Chubb is back. So they're going to rally around him. The Ravens just didn't get up for the game. I wouldn't hang my hat on this. The Browns aren't going to turn around their season. This doesn't mean anything for me with the Ravens. Also at the very end of the game, I don't know if you watched it, but Rashad Bateman literally got hit in the face with the ball and dropped it, which would have set up the field goal or set up at least a good chance at them actually scoring, the Ravens scoring at the end of the game. And he just straight up got like literally ball in his face mask right here. It was in his hands and he just dropped it. So I don't put much on this really. Great win for the Browns. Great upset win for the Browns. But
if you look at the stats really quick, 3rd down efficiency, they went 2 for 10, and then 4th down they went 0 for 2. So it just seemed to be just one
they just weren't there.
They just weren't there mentally.
They just weren't there. And what this does that I think hurts, it doesn't hurt the Ravens in any way. Who this hurts is the Bengals, because they're continuing to lose games. And if it comes down to in the AFC where they could, like, they go on a run and they're like in the running, what's going to end up hurting them is the Browns are going to win a couple more games.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the in-division record that's going to hurt them. Like if they go on a run, whatever, this hurts the Bengals of anyone the most. Because let's say they do turn it around enough to where the Bengals are like teetering and so are the Browns on the playoffs. The Bengals are out, and then most likely, the Browns aren't going to make the playoffs. But like if the Bengals are up and down and they're like on the edge, this game will come back to it, and this will be what ends up, killing them. But
so do you have anything you want to say to Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones?
I've made myself pretty clear. Dak is so extremely overrated. He's literally just a CD merchant. Like,
Mhm.
when Ezekiel Elliott is the best running back in your room, he used to be good, but Jerry has this weird like P. Diddy love affair with Zeke. I don't know what this is, but he's just like loves him to death. He's absolutely washed. CD did what he could
Mhm.
to make it work. 13 receptions, 146, 2 touchdowns. But I mean, Dak Prescott's just a fucking joke. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and like the 243 looks really good.
Yeah.
Like the stat line, if aside from the interceptions, the stat line doesn't look terrible. But it was literally the same story. It was a rerun of Cowboys versus Ravens,
Yeah,
where
this is what we said.
they made a meaningless comeback.
Yeah. This is
So
what we've said multiple times last year and this year about the Cowboys, specifically Dak Prescott. We're like, if you look at the stats, it looks really good. But if you watch the game, you would know that it was just meaningless comeback in the fourth quarter. They just like the teams, for whatever reason, decided to play when time was already
And
out.
look, I mean, if anything, the Lions' hangover extends past bye weeks, because there's no reason they should have lost this game. Like,
Mhm.
Jordan Mason goes down.
Yeah.
Debo could barely breathe. He had to take every other playoff. He wasn't on a snap count, but he had to take every other playoff. George Kittle was the number one option tonight. 6 receptions, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. He always shows up against the Cowboys in prime time. But like
Mhm.
that was your best receiver. The second best receiver beyond like after Debo and George Kittle, the second best receiver was a guy who got shot in the chest 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like
And, hey,
like
that was a guy I was thinking about for White Man.
Ricky Pearsall. Like, I mean, shout out to him. It's no dig to him, but like
Mhm.
that was the next best player on the field tonight. And you guys lost. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know. The defense, the Cardinals beat the Niners.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and Brock's not a scrambler, but he was against the Cowboys, which just shows like how much their defense. I was completely wrong. They seemed to have a little bit of fire about them, but then as the game went on, it was like, okay, now Brock Purdy, who's not a scrambler, is looking like Lamar Jackson against you guys. It's just,
I think it's hilarious. We've all but forgot about Micah Parsons.
Mhm.
Like, no one said his name at all. And like, even during the broadcast, I was listening to it. They mentioned him like once, like, oh,
Yeah.
when they get Micah back, there's going to be a difference. But like, he's supposed to be this big impact player where everyone's like, he's a defensive player of the year, and no one's talking about like, oh, when he returns, they're gonna no, like it's not enough because Dak Prescott's your quarterback, and there's no reason he should be the number one paid player in NFL history.
And you gotta be able to run the ball. That's what we've seen this year. This year
Yeah,
has changed into you need to be able to run the ball.
the Cowboys have always like even when they've had mediocre running backs, they've always been the team that has a great O line, so they make their mediocre running backs look
Mhm.
good, and they're just even the O line is just bad. I bet they're just I bet Jerry's just doing geriatric shakes right now after he let Noah Brown go, and then he had that moment earlier today. Like
Yeah,
I
and they
don't know.
could have gotten Derrick Henry, but
Neither of these teams deserve to win this game, if I'm being honest. Like
I thought,
watching this game, like it was just I don't know. Like there were multiple times where I would look up, literally, like I swear it would be like 30 seconds. I would look up and I'm like, didn't the Cowboys just have the ball? And then I'd look up and then San Francisco has the ball, and someone's dropping a pass. I don't know. This game was really tough to watch.
I
It
don't
was
know.
really
I
tough to
think the
watch.
49ers did quite well for the amount of injuries that they got last week. Last week, like basically half their team went down and they showed up, put up 30 points. The offense looked even better than they did last week. I would say Brock Purdy has grown a little bit in the regards that he can now run the ball. I would like to see him slide though. He keeps diving forward. I mean,
Yeah.
did we just forget that Tua just did that exact same thing and literally almost died right there on?
Tua tries to spear people. Okay. If you watch back, like that last concussion he had, he literally just tried to spear it. It wasn't even like he tried to lower his shoulder. He literally went
Yeah, you might
like,
be right, but
like Oh my gosh. I don't know. This game was just I didn't this game was the least fun I've ever had watching like a Sunday night football game.
I enjoyed it a bit, just a small bit, but I will agree it wasn't what I was expecting.
It was fun like to see like I genuinely was like, okay, now this is a decision that I don't understand personally.
Mhm.
Why are we taking 3 timeouts before the 2-minute warning?
I
What
don't
was
know.
that?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
I was trying to like understand I was trying to understand his thought process of like, okay, you get the ball back with 3 minutes. Even if you give the ball back to them, you're giving the ball back to them potentially with like I don't know if in his mind in his mind after this entire game where they couldn't run the ball or anything, he's like, "Oh yeah, now we know how to run the ball. So
Mhm.
we're going to run the last 3 minutes off the clock and we're going to go down and score." Cuz it's not like it's a field goal to where like you can spend your 3 timeouts and then
Yeah,
methodically work your way down the field for 3 minutes
yeah.
and then kick a field goal and win the game. You got to go score. And you got to leave yourself enough time to get the ball back and potentially go kick a field goal or something.
Mhm.
So I can't wrap my head around, and now he's a head coach and he's been doing it for way longer than me. So internet, eat my ass. I get it. I'm just a guy. But I can't wrap my head around taking 3 timeouts before the 2-minute warning and then going 3 and out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know unless it was you were relying on your defense to.
Which the defense has done nothing.
I
Like there
know.
was no signs in this game. The part for me, like if it was any other game, I could get on board. But you have no run game. So there's nothing to me that's like, oh, we're going to run the ball. That's why we're taking the timeout. So we're expected to go the length of the field, or we're trusting our defense to get a stop for us. Neither of those things were present tonight. So why are we leaving ourselves with our dick in our hand with like, there was 2 minutes and 40 seconds, if
Mhm.
not more, when the Niners got the ball back. What are you doing? I don't think so.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it as well. I don't
I
really
don't
get
think
it
so.
because I think the rule that we all kind of understand here is 2 minute warning, and then beyond is when you start burning your timeouts. I think that's pretty common
But there was
knowledge for us
four
common
minutes.
folk.
But there was 4 minutes in the game. Why would you not just take the chance? Like there's 4 minutes in the game. You're rolling. In that instance, that's the moment I would bet on my defense. Not after everything we just went through. That's the moment I bet on my defense to get me a stop so I have all of my timeouts and I can take this game to the wire and then I can go score and then I have the option to either go for two or go to overtime.
Yeah.
And I would just go to overtime in this scenario.
Yeah. I think the normal option is you want to do what you're saying.
I'm a D1 hater. That's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And we're buffet sports. Um,
You really flex that muscle. You flex the hate and muscle, and you've been working out. That's all I gotta say. You've been working out.
I hate the NFL. Week 8 sucked. Signing off. Go ahead, do all this stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things. If you want to stick around to see me just in shambles the rest of this week. Peace out.
Peace out.